So as Shannon goes, I think Dr. Yoon was able to join and jump on the line as well. Obviously everybody on this call is probably familiar with Dr. Lawrence Yoon, who's not just one of the foremost economists in the world, but he's the economist that we have for our industry at NAR. He's the chief economist at NAR. He's the senior vice president of research at NAR. So any of the research that you hear quoted or see out there is coming from Dr. Yoon and his group. And again, he was a gentleman who just jumped right in and said, hey, anything I can help share, anything I can help bring to the table to help your leadership team, to help your brand, and to help our industry weather this storm and keep moving, I'd be happy to. He's always cited in the Wall Street Journal as well as part of the Harvard Joint Studies programs. He's been down in DC for a long time, pushing and fighting on our behalf and putting our industry first, and showing what we're doing to move the economy forward. And so Dr. Yoon is also, as things change and evolve, he will be with us again on April 29th to talk about where he sees the industry headed, what the statistics and metrics are telling us. But he promised again to give us a couple short minutes today to kind of give us a macro look at what he's seen out there. And he shared some really kind of inspirational statistics to me about the fundamentals of real estate and where we're headed just a week ago when we were on a quick call. So Dr. Yoon, hopefully you were able to jump on and join us, but I'll pass it over to you, sir.
Hello, Mike, and thank you for giving me the time to talk with Realtor members, C21, major player in the industry. So we are in clearly an unprecedented times. One looks at some of the economic numbers, like 3 million people filing for unemployment insurance in 1 week, followed by 6 million the following week. These are off the chart numbers. In the past deep recessions, in a given week, we never even touched 1 million in terms of first-time unemployment insurance filers. Now, it's cumulatively, it sort of drags down. So essentially, we fell off the cliff in terms of economic activity. Essentially, a quarter of the jobs at risk, people in the tourism, people in the small businesses. However, after having said this terrible economic numbers, if you believe that daycare centers will reopen, if you believe hair salons will reopen once some type of vaccine is found or all clear with some social distancing measure is, but we are going to get a robust job creation of something to the tune of maybe 8 million within a few short weeks. We probably will not make up all the job losses that occurred through the March and early April, but I am hopeful that by late summer that we have pretty much recovered maybe 90% of those job losses. As mentioned by Shannon, NAR and the advocacy team has been just lobbying actively. And the government is clearly understanding this economic shutdown is not the fault of entrepreneurs, individuals. It is a government mandated economic shutdown. So the spirit of reviving the economy is to make the individuals and companies back to whole through the small business administration loans, grants, the unemployment insurance check for independent contractors. I don't even like the word unemployment check. These are disaster relief because no fault of their own, people are losing out on income. But let me turn to the housing market condition. What we are finding is that depending upon the state government orders about how much of the stay in shelter, what is essential and non-essential, in some states, activities are down about 70, 80% in few weeks. Other states down only mildly as people are following the social distancing, and more realtors, they're being very resourceful. They're able to communicate with their members, their clients, and actually get the deal done without actually meeting in person. So virtual tours, exterior appraisal. So I was quite pleased how resourceful the realtors are in getting the deals done, even in this very restrained environment. So very pleasing on that. But nonetheless, we should anticipate that the second quarter numbers to be down sharply. But the key question is whether or not third or fourth quarter we can recover most of those lost sales. Now, the second quarter is the spring buying season, always a strong strong season. So some of the makeup will not occur in the autumn because the reason for the spring buying season is that families with school-aged kids, they want to make the move in the summer before the school year begins. But now the school year timing is off, they may decide to stay in their home for another year before deciding on that. Now, on the longer term horizon is that I've been mentioning to all the large brokers just at the end of 2019, so before we knew about the coronavirus, that the 4 of the next 5 years will be an improving year. And I've been saying that because we have a sizable pent-up demand that is yet to be fulfilled in the marketplace. We have had housing shortage. The overall housing equity is at a very comfortable situation. I don't anticipate any measurable price decline. Prices could be very stable throughout 2020. So there is, but even in the worst case where prices do decline on a nationwide levels, there's sizable equity cushion to prevent any massive foreclosures. And given the mortgage forbearance, that will also limit any foreclosure situation. So the next 4 to 5 years, I mentioned to the brokers that it will be an improving year up in terms of that. I just did not realize that one of that negative year will be so soon, and of course unexpected. But again, the numbers on economic data, it is just completely off the chart in terms of any economic data one looks at, GDP, unemployment rate, and so forth. But it will also be off the chart in terms of positive direction once we get the all clear signal. And I will go into more details at the end of April on the next Century 21 event, much more detail to say why there is this pent-up demand, what are the age group differences and all that part. And of course, over the next few weeks, there will be a lot of changes as well. And maybe through this process, maybe there's a good hope on the vaccine discovery, who knows. But just hang on there for just a few months. I hope it doesn't last more than a few months. But the rebound will be equally strong as how we went down.
Dr. Yoon, thank you so much for jumping on. We know how busy you are, and just the amount of resource and vast information that you're trying to kind of relay to us in layman terms is just overwhelming for a lot. We appreciate everything that you're doing, and I know you're trying to balance, obviously policy and advocacy with what's happening in the street. And I think you're exactly right. It's just been really cool to see how resourceful our sales professionals have been in staying safe, yet still providing for, something that really moves the GDP. I think when we talked last week, you said, look, the fundamentals of the housing market were extremely strong going in, and that doesn't necessarily mean that things can't, change, but given where we were at, we should get a strong recovery. And based on everything that you and NAR are doing to advocate on our behalf, I know you're positioning us well with the government and in the industry to come out of this really strong as soon as we possibly can. So thank you for sharing the information. Thank you for sharing your time. I know that this is a fast moving thing and that you got to jump on your 1 o'clock call there. But we appreciate all the knowledge that you're bringing to us because it just helps every one of us be better and plan for where we're headed. So thank you, Dr. Yoon.
Thank you, Mike, and talk to you at the end of April for a bigger session.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Take care. So look, Century 21, thank you for joining today. Again, our job here is to bring you guys as much information as possible. I think, if I boil down today's